Hey everyone, Joe here. In this video I'm going to show you how I make this valance that's going to go over my N-scale switching layout. And it's for a few different purposes. So one, I needed a way to basically make a dust cover for this layout. I do a lot of woodworking down in here and I didn't want to have a lot of sawdust and other types of dust falling and laying on top of the layout. What I was doing was just putting the plastic kind of like over it and kind of like pinning it to the wall, and it just looked terrible. So now I have a way to kind of drape the plastic around it in a nice way that it's not actually touching any of the models or the scenery. Another thing, it's kind of like a storage area, so in case I want to store whatever I want up there, in case I want to do that. And also I'm going to install some lighting at some point, and so I can light everything nice and evenly just in this area. So if I wanted to turn the rest of the lights off down here and just have these lights on for some nice ambience, or maybe add some color filters in here to simulate different types of day, I can do that too. So I haven't really finished the lighting portion, just got this part built and fastened to the wall, and so that's what I'm going to go over in this video.
Alright, so here's the dust cover before this project started. Not too pretty, so needed to change that. I already had some poplar on hand, so I figured I would use that for the frame since I didn't have to go out and buy anything new, and it came from a project that had never been started anyway, so I might as well just use it. So I ripped everything on the table saw to the size that I needed, and made sure I had all the pieces, and then I dry fit them together so that I could make sure that all my measurements were correct and everything was square, and I was happy with the design. Next, I just removed the N-scale switching layout from the shelf brackets that they were sitting on. And yeah, modules. Modules are great. So here I'm just drilling some holes into the studs to mount some more shelf brackets upside down, because I'll attach the valance frame to those, and just marked where I needed to make sure that some of the braces inside the frame matched up with the brackets on the wall. Everything was put together with pocket screws, just for a quick project. I didn't want to spend too much time on it, and I'm pretty happy with the pocket hole joinery system. So here I'm just clamping it to the shelf brackets, marking all the places I need to drill holes so I can bolt it up into the frame, and drilling some holes. Lots of sawdust was made on this project. Alright, so here I'm just measuring out some of the hardboard that I had gotten, and this was going to be used for both the valance and for the top of the frame to use as a shelf. And I had actually cut these too small, so in hindsight I probably should have made some better measurements, but that's okay. I was able to use all the board up, at least on the project. So here you can see, yeah, I didn't cut it right, so I had to go back and cut some more strips to fill up the top of the shelf area. And then I just brad nailed it into place. And here I'm just drilling the holes through the top of the shelf so I could mount that to the brackets. And I wanted the valance to have a 1/4-inch lip on the top of it, so if I did put anything on top, it couldn't just roll off or slide off too easily. So what I did is I put some 1/4-inch plywood underneath the entire thing and lifted it up off the table by a 1/4 inch, and then just when I was gluing everything down, the edge of the masonite was resting on the table. You can see right there in the corner, it's now it's got that 1/4-inch lip on it, and then just glued with Gorilla Glue and brad nailed into place while the glue was setting. So if I didn't nail that into place, I would have to keep it clamped in a bunch of various sections, otherwise it would expand and push it out a little bit. And so I just wanted to make it a lot faster to get on to the next step. So here I'm just applying a couple coats of white primer, and I used white simply because at some point I'm going to install a lighting system of some sort in here, some sort of light, and I didn't want the light to be absorbed up into the frame, so I painted it white to reflect all the light down towards the layout instead. And then I painted the front of it black. 2 coats here as well. So here's the bolts, some washers, and some wing nuts that I used to mount it to the shelf brackets. And I just clamped it up onto the brackets while I installed the bolts and secured the wing nuts. This was kind of awkward holding it up, so I actually went out and bought this 8-inch C-clamp just to do this project, and I'll probably use it a lot later on. It's actually a really nice clamp. Can't have too many clamps. So everything's secured, nice and tight to the wall, and then I just brought the module back over and made some quick measurements. I wanted to make sure I cut the right length of plastic so it draped down just below the edge of, the bottom of the layout. That way dust couldn't creep up too easily from underneath as well. And then all I had to do was just drape the plastic over it. And right now I'm just holding it down with some wooden blocks until I figure out if I want to do something else with it.
And so there we have it. Nice valance attached to the wall. I got some storage space. I'm going to do some lighting at some point. And then I can also drape this plastic over the side. I got it weighted with some clothespins at the moment. Haven't quite decided on if I want to change how I want to do that. But for right now, it's a nice way to keep the dust and the dirt and everything off of the layout when I'm doing other things like woodworking. So, if you enjoyed this video, consider subscribing so you can catch more of these. And until next time, thanks for watching. Take care. We'll see you later.